we can get going.
Okay, can we start with the roll call?
All righty. So Thomas Bystricky,
Here.
Joyce Hall, Andy, is it Hayes or Haas?
Hayes here.
Hayes, okay.
Yep.
Susie Corum,
Here.
Pat Snyder. No, Pat Nolan. I'm just kidding. It's Pat Nolan.
Here.
And Scott Snyder.
Here.
Oh, and Dave Preisel.
So we do have a quorum. So we can continue on.
All right, great. Anybody get a chance to look over the minutes? Do I?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Great. Next thing is our project
Thomas,
update.
we do have to do I'll say aye, those opposed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there is a vote on that, sorry.
Okay, can I get a vote? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anybody opposed? Great, motion passes. Number 3, Kip, your project updates.
Okay, so if you guys notice, we don't have a whole lot of new business going on this month. Obviously, we're starting a new year, so we're kind of getting everything up and rolling here again. So just kind of a utility update for everybody. The 11th Street project, which is going to be happening in 2025, they'll be starting that spring of 2025. I did meet with Cedar Corp. We've got some slip lining that we will be doing on that project. So I did meet with Cedar Corp, and we've got the design and the plan set all ready to go. That'll actually be going out real soon here. And then we'll be opening them bids on February 5th at 2:00. Once we get the bids open on that project, that will come back to you guys for approval. And then we can move from there. So I just kind of gave you a little update on the 11th Street. Part of the 11th Street project is we will be installing new water main from Summer Street to Laurel Avenue. We're going to be going from an 8-inch or a 6-inch up to an 8-inch ductile iron pipe. The 6-inch is just too small to be traveling or, pushing our water through there. So as part of that project, we will be doing new water main and new services in those couple blocks there. Our estimated cost on that is just over $390,000. That's part of this. All that gets bid out through the state project because it's actually a state project that they're doing. Any questions on 11th Street?
Is that the only portion of 11th, or is the city going to do a complete reconstruct from Taco John's or Cooley all the way to the cemetery?
They're doing a complete reconstruct on all of 11th Street from from Taco John's all the way north to the cemetery.
Okay.
It's going to be a complete rehab of that. Unfortunately, we've just got a couple little spots in there that we need to repair and fix. So that's why we'll get some of that. We'll get all that stuff done as part of the project or separately through our bid with Cedar Corp. So we'll get all that kind of stuff started on there. But yeah, new all the way.
So just and then minimal sewer work, you said?
Yeah, very minimal sewer work. Basically, we're doing some slip lining. We've got, I believe it's a 12 or a 15-inch. I'd have to look back at my notes. Concrete pipe that's in there. That's a 8 to 10-inch concrete pipe, and it's deteriorating. So the gases in the sewer are actually eating the concrete. You can see all the exposed aggregate that's in there. So what we'll do is they actually come in and they'll put a slip in there in a liner. So they'll slip line that, which the integrity of the pipe is fine. It's just kind of starting to not be as slippery, and it's not moving wastewater as quickly as we'd like through there. So slip lining that will actually add, it'll improve the life of that pipe for sure. Green
Are those
Street,
original pipes there, Kip?
I'm sorry, say that again, Susie.
Are those the original pipes?
I'm guessing, yeah, I didn't look, it's in my notes, but I don't know the actual date on when they were installed, but
Gotta be
I'm guessing that that they're old.
I'm kind of guessing it's early 50s.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah.
And then if you remember that they did Green Street last year, so we had a couple minor repairs that we did on Green Street before they put the new blacktop down. And what we're going to be doing is coming in and doing a grout on that sanitary sewer line. So basically, the line is in good shape. It's clay tile. But it's in good shape. So what we do is we'll actually go in and they inject grout into each joint. Most of these joints are anywhere between 2 to 3 feet long, would be the length of the pipe that was installed. So what they do is they'll go in and inject a grout in there. And then we also put a root inhibitor in that grout, which stops any roots and things from coming in and causing problems on that. So we'll get that done yet this spring. And then, like I said, the new water.
Just curious on that slip lining. Kip, does that, will that outlast the street now? So when they go to do a street again in 30 years, 35, 40 maybe at the most, then they'll do a complete replacement of sewer?
More than likely, yeah. Yeah. This will definitely get us, 20, 30 years. I mean, a slip line, basically once it cures, it's just like an HDPE pipe. So it's
Sure.
just like a
Sure.
plastic pipe once it's cured.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the only thing really that you're going to have issues with would be any settling that could have occurred. You kind of eliminate all the need or your root intrusions, different things like that. But yeah, it's basically a brand new pipe without having to do all the digging is what that is.
Yeah.
So any other questions on 11th Street? Then we'll move down to the 1201, the Service Center edition. So you can kind of see the development plan and review. They were submitted today to the city. So basically that's just a very high level. Susie, you probably see these come through. It's basically just a very high level plan set that says, here's kind of what we're doing with curb cuts and different things along that nature. So that gives the city an opportunity to put any comments that they might have or concerns that they have before we get into more of a final planning on that. So the project will be on the Planning Commission agenda for concept approval at the February 4th meeting. So we need to submit now in order to get on their February meeting. And then assuming we receive approval, we'll then submit for final development approval in February for the March 4th Planning Commission meeting and likely be on council agenda for their late March, early April meeting for final city approvals. In the meantime, we're progressing with drawings, including architectural, civil, landscape, and then your MEPs. We're roughly about 65% on that plan set right now. Once that 65% mark is hit, Market and Johnson will update their pricing based on the set that they're looking at, just to ensure that we're on track with our budget. And then this price will be able to be presented to the PUC at our February meeting. So once we get to our February meeting, we're going to have a lot of stuff on this February meeting. So at that time is when we'll be, kind of looking at the whole plan set, or at least a 65% plan set, seeing where we're on track. How are we tracking financially? Are we still on track to do? We'll have to make decisions. Are we still on track to do solar? Are we still on track to do your UV or EV, not UV, UV is wastewater, your EV chargers, different things like that. If we want to, if we want to keep that stuff in there or not, that's the time that we would look at all that kind of stuff and make any changes that we want. So we'll be seeing all that at our February meeting. Any questions on Livingston Road addition? And then the last project that we have for you guys is the Deer Path Tower project that we've been talking about. So the plan set, it's been completed and it is out for bids as of today, or it's out today. We'll be opening them bids on January 30th. And that will also be on the PUC meeting in February for approval. Once we get the bids opened and we can take a look at them. So that's pretty much your updates on projects, status reports. Any questions on that?
I was wondering about that large study that SEH, that engineering firm, is doing on our system and what the results are. Are we going to have that by February?
No,
For us
you're
to
probably
look
not
over?
going to have that by February. I met with them, what was it, a week, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago we met. There's a lot more at play than what we, I guess, originally thought. So it's just taken a little more time to gather the information that we're looking for. And when I say a little more at play, it's kind of not, we want to do it right. I mean, if we're going to be looking 40 years out, we're trying to look 40 years out, and it's hard to, on some aspects, it's hard to look 40 years out, obviously. But yeah, it's still in the works, Pat, but it's just, it's going a little slower than we had anticipated, which is fine. I guess we'd rather get it right than have to come back to the table, a whole bunch of times and make changes and different things like that. So yeah, hopefully once we get that, obviously that'll be shared with you and the city. But at this point, it's just kind of moving slow. So
It's just any kind of estimation when that might be done.
I'm hoping by spring. Again, we're looking at developments that are potentially coming into the city of Hudson and how that plays into our plan. So I'm working with community development on that, working with administration up at City Hall. There's just a lot in the works. So, developments, as we all know, the city is pretty much developed out, without annexation and different things like that. So what we're trying to do is figure out any future annexations that might come in, some that are possibly on the table right now that are being looked at. So we can kind of incorporate all that into this, I guess, project or whatever we want to call it, study. So we're just trying to gather all the information. And, like I said, when I met with them, they had information, but we had, between me and community development, we had quite a few questions that needed to be answered before, anything was brought forward for public. So I'm hoping by spring that we have a little something more on track. And again, we just need to keep in mind that this is a kind of a planning tool, I would call it, for the future. We're not looking at doing anything immediate in the immediate future, but this is something that we want to get right. So in 10 years from now, we can look back at that plan and go, okay, this all made sense, and we can tweak it, as it's moving through, the years and different things. But we're just trying to get everything set for now. So, all right. Any other questions on status report or project updates? Otherwise, we can move on to number 4. We don't need it. This is just for information, so we don't need a vote.
Everybody good? Number 4 was just other business for informational purposes for the upcoming agenda.
I don't have anything unless commissioners had anything that they would like to be put on the agenda. And again, you can always email me at any time and ask questions if you're, heard something or thinking about something. We can always add it. So
Nobody?
Well, it just depends on what SEH says. So
yeah, and that's going to be lengthy discussions once we get into that. So
Okay. Moving on to number 5, discussion and action on claims. Did anybody have anything they wanted to talk about with the payables?
I was wondering about the, on page 22, it's referenced page 22 on the bottom left. 21,650 to Studio EA. It says Vehicle Garage Edition.
That's
Was
for,
that
yeah, that's for our Service Center edition.
right?
That's the contract that we signed with Studio EA. That's part of their, or that was one of their bills that they sent us or invoices that they sent us.
Right. How many, what's, it was that the first payment to them or have we had others?
No, we've had, I think, this is probably the third, I want to say. Total contract amount was 120,000.
Okay.
So this is as they move through, you know, they do a 10% plan review, and then I think it's a 25%, or they've got their benchmarks that we've set.
Sure.
So as they hit each benchmark, they can then submit for payment for the work that they have done.
Got it.
So yeah, you'll see more of them. You'll see more of them come through until we get to that 120,000 or the end of the project.
Sure. Okay.
Anything else on claims? And just an FYI, we did not get cash reports this month. If I don't know if everybody's heard, but finance is actually down a staff member right now. They had a staff member resign, so finance right now is really busy, obviously, with end of year and, you know, trying to get everything rounded up and being short a staff member. So that's why you did not see cash reports this month. We'll get them back to you next month.
Anybody have anything else they want to talk about with claims, or does anybody want to make a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, let's vote on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion passes. That's the end of our agenda unless anybody has anything else.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
I can. All right. Let's vote on that. Anybody, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, that motion passes. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.